combat germs and viruses. We're back with another video. Since everyone's quarantined right now, I decided I'll treat you guys to a little Decline of Western Civilization review. This is a documentary filmed by Penelope Spheres. She went through, interviewed all the bands, filmed the bands. Amazing record. If you're into 1980s hardcore, like the early 80s stuff, definitely check this out. It's not as hardcore as like the bands like Negative Approach and, you know, Poison Idea and Minor Threat, but it's still the same scene. You know, you still got Black Flag, you still have Fear, you still have Circle Jerks, and the Germs, of course. So it's still pretty hardcore for, you know, the scene they were in. It gets a little, you know, new wavy, but as the record says,
there's no such thing as new wave. It does not exist.
So it starts out with Black Flag, and of course before they go on, they read the little sheet, you know.
Okay, attention! Attention!
For the third time, attention.
Wait a minute. Attention, shut up.
Attention.
Attention, please be advised.
Please be advised that by your entry upon these premises.
By your entry upon these premises.
Everyone knows the intro. It's amazing, legendary, funny. And then they come out with White Minority. First song on there. Depression and Revenge, that's the set they play. Of course they played a bigger set live, but that's what they recorded. And it sounded amazing. Ron Reyes does vocals for Black Flag on this one. Of course, Greg on guitar and the bass player and drummer change constantly. I'm pretty sure it was Robo on drums and Chuck Dukowski on bass. Then the Germs come in. They only play one song, unfortunately, and they play Manimal. Now, if you watch the documentary, of course you got Darby Crash on the cover. This is from him actually playing. He can't sing into the microphone. The band can barely play their instruments. You know, he just ends up drawing on himself with the Sharpie. And of course, before they play, you get the classic Darby Crash.
Damn it, somebody give me a beer. A beer, damn it, a beer. Damn it, one of you give me a beer. Give me a beer, you fucking...
You know, everyone loves that. And before they go on, there's actually a little interview with Lorna Doom. And they're talking about why they won't book the Germs anymore. And it's just because they're so crazy. Like, Darby Crash has to make up for his lack of ability somehow. If you actually watch the documentary, they start talking, and so Darby Crash has a girlfriend in the documentary. That was actually a cover-up because Darby Crash was bisexual. He had a boyfriend at the time, but the scene was so homophobic that he had to hide it. That's just a little tidbit there for you. Catholic Discipline played Underground Babylon.
The pieces of the night are still tucked to my hair. What we did is fading in the light of the day. What we say is bullshit.
I'm not a Catholic Discipline fan. They're way more on the new wave side. They are not like... I don't want to say they're bad. They're a great band. They're just not my taste. Then we have X playing Beyond and Back, Johnny Hit and Run Pauline, and We're Desperate. And X X is an amazing band. You can definitely hear the rock and roll roots because everyone always says that punk rock is just evolved rock and roll. You can definitely hear it with the band X. It is very fine and very well recorded. They definitely play their instruments way better than half the bands on here. Sorry about it, but you know, they're a little more talented. But don't get me wrong, I love how bands can't play instruments. That's the best part of punk rock, but they're definitely one of the more talented. Then you have Circle Jerks playing Red Tape, Back Against the Wall, I Just Want Some Skank, and Beverly Hills.
Red Tape! I can see you, Red Tape! Duty good. Red Tape! I can see you, Red Tape! Doing you good. That's that! That's that! That's that! That's that! That's all, Red Tape! Can't you see Red Tape? But I can see you, Red Tape!
I wanted to get Keith Morris to sing vocals on Black Flag because that was Penelope's favorite era and she thought that it would document it so well. But by this time, while they're filming, Ron Reyes had already taken over and Keith was kicked out of the band for partying too much and having fun. So they got Circle Jerks instead of having him sing for Black Flag. They do an amazing set on here. They played more songs than anyone else with a total of 5 songs on this album. And they just killed it. And then of course Alice Bag Band played. They're definitely pretty hardcore on there. They only played one song though, they played Gluttony. Alice Bag's vocals are killer. Like, definitely check this album out if you're into killer female vocals. She's one of the top female vocalists in, you know, 80s punk rock. Then they ended off with Fear, playing I Don't Care About You, Of Course I Love Living in the City, and the Fear Anthem.
Just like the zoo, it's chock full of shit and puke. Cockroaches on the walls, crabs are crawling on my balls.
Now, Fear is a very controversial band for 2020. I love how offensive they were back then, but they would definitely not make it in the world now. Punk has evolved so much. Fear would get booed off the stage and called racist, homophobic, misogynistic. But they're still a killer band. They were probably just trying to shock people because that's how the scene was at the time. Like, they're probably not, but I'm not for sure. On the back you see you got all the vocalists, Ron, Alice Bag, you know, Lee of Fear. Oh, that's X-Zine, of course. Then Keith Morris, legendary. And then Catholic Discipline right there with Claude. Sorry. I'm not a huge Catholic Discipline fan. I couldn't remember his name. I picked this record up at my local shop, Buffalo Records. Always represent them. Now, on the cover, like I said, it's Darby Crash, and this is actually the cover they used for the movie. It says all the bands down there for you. Amazing record. Put out on Warner Bros. And Slash Records. Check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And at the bottom it says thank you. And you can tell them to fuck off.